Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Bible study video. We are going to be going into Genesis 38 and the story of Judah and Tamar, which is a small breaking point between Joseph's story and him going on into the rest of Egypt. But before I get into today's Bible study, there's a couple announcements, couple things I want to talk about before continuing. One of them is announcing a new topic video, and then a short series of videos I want to start doing as of next week. So the topic video, I am going to be trying to aim for 3 Fridays from now. So not this Friday, not next Friday, but the Friday after that, which gives me plenty of time to try and compile the information for it, which gives me enough time to get actual people's testimonies on it and include it into the video if I can, without actually releasing their names or usernames or anything. But if I can actually include some testimonies into the video, I think it might make a bigger impact to those who are watching and dealing with the same topic at the same time. I know it's a little confusing because I haven't told you what it is, but I'll get to that. I was asked a couple weeks ago to cover this topic, and I flat out told them no, because I didn't think I could. Well, for a couple reasons actually. I didn't think I was qualified to cover the topic. I didn't think I would cover it well enough. It is a really big topic, and overall I just did not think I can pull off this kind of topic on my channel. But from that point, when I flat out told him no, to now I have 4 or 5 more people who are dealing with this exact same sin and exact same theme, topic, whatever you want to call it. And I've been sitting and thinking about it for the last handful of days. And, well, I guess this morning really is when I officially decided that I was going to cover this topic. I don't really know why I decided to, but I just kind of decided to go ahead and do so. Because now I know several people who are dealing with the exact same sin. If I can actually successfully pull off this theme, this topic, and actually help even at least one of them, then I will consider it a success. That's my goal. My goal is to try and help them out by compiling any information from various different videos, from various different websites, from various different testimonies of people into one video, and try and make a little bit of a difference with them. So let's go ahead and I'll just tell you what the topic is, okay? I'm going to be covering the topic of sexual immorality, okay? And I know it is a huge topic. A lot of people are having to deal with it, guys and girls. And I'm going to make my best effort of trying to compile everything I can into one video that can be useful for even 1 or 2 of these people who are currently dealing with this sin. Okay, I don't know how well I can do it, but I'm going to give it my best shot. So I'm giving myself 3 full weeks to try and compile the information, to try and shoot parts of it, and then put it into one solid video. Now, if for some reason it comes to the 3rd week and I'm still not even close to being done, I will put out a short and let you guys know, hey, I need a little bit more time with this. But that's my goal. So hopefully I can do some justice. Hopefully I can help someone out. And if anyone else who is currently dealing with it that I'm not talking about, maybe you can help them out as well. So that is my theme cover coming up soon. Now, the shorts that I'm talking about, the series of short videos that I want to do starting next week, that one is going to be a little bit more lighter. Consider like daily bread, so to speak. 2 or 3 times a week, I want to do a couple shorts, picking out a random verse or a random topic or random theme, something that's small, something that I can put it into a 3-minute short video, because I think the shorts got bumped up from 1 minute to 3 minutes now. So for 3 minutes, I want to do just a real quick short, reading this verse or topic, and then go a real quick explanation of it, just a prayer, something like that. Just something I'm kind of pumping out every single week, regardless of me doing an actual Bible study every Friday or Saturday. So that is my goal. So daily bread kind of videos. Then I have one thing I want to show off to you guys. Okay, I got this yesterday. Now, if you guys have seen my Bible previously, she was in a really pretty pink Bible case. But unfortunately, she was getting to be a little too snug in the case, and I had to get her a new Bible case. I have tabs on my Bible. The Old Testament is on the side, the New Testament is on the top, and my Bible is getting pressed so close to the zipper that it was actually smushing my Bible tabs to the pages. And then we have 2 slots for pens on the side. My pens are actually getting crushed into my pages because it was so close to the zipper. So I didn't really have a choice but to get another Bible case. I guess that is the downside when you start gluing in pages and sticky notes and add-ons into your Bible. My Bible is no longer the standard flat. Okay, it is actually starting to kind of bow a little bit from me adding things into it. And I'm still not done adding things into it. So this is my new Bible case. And isn't she pretty? Like, there's some really cute flowers. There's this really etched in flower. On the back here, it's pretty much blank except for this little butterfly and a Bible verse that says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has gone, the new has come." 2 Corinthians 5:17. So that's it. It has this really cute cross zipper on the thing here. And as you guys can kind of tell, okay, it does have more room. See? It has more room on the inside here. The top, even the top part has more room. So my Bible should have plenty of growth before it starts to more. I have to get a new Bible case for it. But yeah, I like it. It is so pretty. So anyways, so that is the announcements for today. New topic video, new series of daily breads coming up soon, and I got a new Bible case. So let's go ahead and just get into Genesis 38, and we will see what we can figure out about Judah and Tamar. If I can actually get to 38 real quick. 38, where's 38? There's 39. Okay. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and just get into 38. Now, if you guys have not seen my studies in a little bit, or you guys just don't, this is your first one, I read from the ESV version. So if you are reading from a New King James or a NIV, your guys' text might be slightly different. Okay. Okay. So Judah and Tamar. So it says, "It happened at that time that Judah went down from his brothers and turned aside to a certain Adullamite, whose name was Hurrah. Then Judah saw the daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. He took her and went into her, and she conceived and bore a son, and he called his name She conceived again and bore a son, and she called his name Onan. Yet again she bore a son, and she called his name Shelah. Judah was in Shezebib when she bore him. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. But Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord put him to death. Then Judah said to Onan, "Go in to your brother's wife, and perform the duty of a brother-in-law to her, and raise up an offspring for your brother." But Onan knew that the offspring would not be his, so whenever he went into his brother's wife, he would waste the semen on the ground, so as not to give offspring to his brother. And what he did was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and he put him to death also. Then Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, "Remain a widow in your father's house till Shelah my son grows up," for he feared that he would die like his brothers. So Tamar went and remained in her father's house. In the course of time, the wife of Judah, Shua's daughter, died. When Judah was comforted, he went up to Timnah to his sheep shearers. He and his friend Hira, the Adamite. And when Tamar was told, "Your father-in-law is going up to Tamar to shear his sheep," she took off her widow's garments and covered herself with a veil, wrapping herself up, and sat at the entrance to Enaim, which is the road for Timnah, for she saw that she was grown up, and she had not been given to him in marriage. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered her face. He turned to her at the roadside and said, "Come, let me come in to you," for he did not know she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, "What will you give to me that you may come into me?" He answered, "I will give you a young goat from the flock." And she said, "If you give me a pledge until you send it," he said, "What pledge shall I give you?" She replied, "Your signet, your cord, and your staff that is in your hand." So he gave them to her and went into her, and she conceived by him. Then she arose and went away, taking off her veil and put on her garments of her widowhood. When Judah sent the young goat to his friend the Adamite to take back the pledge from the young woman, he did not find her. And he asked the men of the place, "Where is the cult prostitute who was at Enaim at the roadside?" And they said, "No cult prostitute has been here." So he returned to Judah and said, "I have not found her." Also the men in place said, "No cult prostitute has been here." And Judah replied, "Let her keep the things as her own, or we shall be laughed at. You see, I sent this young goat, and you did not find her." About 3 months later, Judah was told, "Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has been immoral. Moreover, she is pregnant by immorality." And Judah said, "Bring her out and let her be burned." As she was being brought out, she sent word to her father-in-law, "By the man to whom these belong, I am pregnant." She said, "Please identify who these are." The signet and the cord and the staff. Then Judah identified them and said, "She is more righteous than I, since I did not give her to my son Shelah." And he did not know her again. When the time of her labor came, there were twins in her womb. And when she was in labor, one put out a hand, and the midwife took and tied a scarlet thread on his hand, saying, "This one came out first." But as she drew back his hand, behold, his brother came out, and she said, "What a breach you have made for yourself." Therefore his name was called Perez. Afterward his brother came out with the scarlet thread on his hand, and his name was called Zerah. I hate those names. Alright, so it's pretty straightforward on this whole chapter. Alright, so that is the end of chapter 38. So now we're just going to go over the chapter real quick and kind of look over some of the notes I have for it. So the first thing I want to mention is Judah is the son of Leah. Actually, I think he was her firstborn. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. But no, actually, I stand corrected. He was her her fourthborn. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and then Judah. But he was one of her kids. Okay, now Judah was the one who suggested they sell Joseph into slavery. Okay, so it's kind of ironic that that this story is about him, or this part at least. Okay, so Judah saw the daughter of a Canaanite. Okay, and I don't know if you guys have seen my previous chapters when I read the rest of Genesis, but it is considered ungodly and unwise to marry a Canaanite. They were told not to, but he did, and he married a girl named Shua, and he went in and had 3 kids with her. So she had then Onan, and then Shelah, and then let's see. Oh, I did. I thought I put down what their names meant. Okay, so either way, was wicked in God's eye. Okay, we were never told what did that was made him wicked, but it was bad enough that for instant judgment, and God automatically killed him. Okay, and then Onan was second born. Okay, he was supposed to go in and perform the duty of his brother to give him a son. Okay, now this is a common thing when you have, at least in those days, when you are married and your husband dies before giving you a child, then the brother is supposed to go and perform the duty and give them a child, so his brother, the one who already died, has his name can be carried on through him. Okay, so this was a custom of the Levite marrying, but he didn't really want to get her pregnant because it wasn't going to be considered his child. I mean, it would be biologically his kid because he's the one who's getting her pregnant, but it wouldn't be considered his kid because he's going in to perform the duty of his brother, so that his brother who had passed away could have his name carried on. So he went in, had sex with her, but he did not finish in her. Okay, he would waste the semen on the ground so that she didn't get pregnant, and that was considered evil by God, so he was also put to death. Okay, so then Judah said to Tamar to remain a widow until his youngest son, Shelah, got to be old enough and could marry her and give her a child. Now, this was a kind of dishonest promise because he had feared that he would die as well, and Tamar went to her house and remained a widow, waiting for his youngest son to be old enough to marry her. Okay, so in the time while she was waiting, Judah's wife Shelah dies, and he is upset about it. He's mourning for her, and he goes up to Timnah, and he's with his friend Hira. Okay, and Tamar, who is still remaining a widow in her father's house, is waiting, and she hears that her father-in-law is in the area, and so she takes off her widow's garments, she covers herself with a veil, and she sits at the entrance of Naanim, leading into Timnah. Okay, so Shelah by this point has already grown up. He has not been given to her in marriage, and when Judah sees her, he thinks she's a prostitute. Okay, GMC. Just check and see if I have any more notes here. Okay. Anyways, so he turns to her. He's getting tricked. She has her face covered, and he's basically saying, "Hey, let me have sex with you." And she asks, like, "What would you give to me that you may come into me?" She's basically asking like payment. Okay, prostitutes, they expect some kind of payment for you to sleep with them. And that's what she's basically asking. She's asking, like, what kind of payment are you going to give me to come sleep with me? And he is saying that he will give her a young sheep from his flock. And in order to guarantee that he's going to give her that young sheep from the flock. She's asking for some kind of compensation to hold on to until she can get the young sheep from the flock. And she says that give me your sidget, your cord, and your staff, and she'll hold on to that until she gets the young sheep from his flock, and then she will give him that back, and she gets the young sheep from the flock. Or goat, not sheep. Okay, so then he goes into her, he sleeps with her, and she is conceived by him. She gets pregnant. Okay, then she gets up, she takes the veil off, she puts her widow garments back on, she resumes her place as a widow, and then Judah tries to send the young goat to his friend, to the prostitute, but his friend can't find this prostitute that he's talking about, and then he mentions that he goes and asks the men of the place, where's the cult prostitute who was at the Enem at the roadside, and they're saying there is no cult prostitutes. Okay, so now he's like confused as to where this cult prostitute came from, who did he actually sleep with, and he's told, no, there's no cult prostitute, there's no one there, we can't find her. So instead he says, let her keep the things as her own, or we should be laughed at. So basically he's trying to say, if we try and continue finding her, all he's going to do is get embarrassed. Give me a second. Okay, so about 3 months later, Judah is told that Tamar is pregnant and that she had committed a sexual immorality because she's pregnant and she's not married, and she was supposed to be with his youngest son Shelah. And in order to prove that she didn't commit anything wrong, she tells him, she goes and she sends word to her father-in-law, says, by the man of whom these belong to, I am pregnant. And she shows him the things that he had given her. The signet, the cord, and the staff is what he had given her. Okay, and then Judah had identifying them as being his, and had said that she is more righteous than I, since I did not give her to my son Shelah. Okay, it was a promise that he was supposed to have made, and he did not do it. He was being dishonest because he did not give her Shelah because he was afraid that Shelah would also be killed, just like his two other brothers. Okay, and then when it came time for her labor, she had twins, and one of the twins actually stuck his hand out, and the midwife had wrapped a cord around his wrist, and then he pulled his wrist back into the womb, and his other brother came out instead first. Okay, so then she named him Perez, which Perez in Matthew 1:5 and Luke 3:3 list him as an ancestor of Jesus, the Messiah. Okay, and then afterward his brother came out with the scarlet thread around his hand, and his name was called Zerah. Yes, and let's see. I don't think I have. Perez means breach, and I don't think I have Zerah listed down and what that means. I don't think so. But yes, I know Perez means breach. But yes, like I said, Perez was mentioned in the ancestry of being the descendant or ancestor of Jesus the Messiah. So basically what happened is, yes, she was impregnated by her father-in-law, but God had turned this ungodly situation and put him in the family line of the Messiah, Perez, Okay, let's see, what else do I have? It was 30, those are all 30. Okay, I think that's pretty much all the notes I have. Okay, so basically, she had made the logical appeal of noting the man who hired her was also guilty. Okay, I mean, technically he hired her to sleep with her, so I think that's pretty much all the notes I have on this. Now, I do want to mention one thing that's kind of a little of a stretch, okay? So Genesis 9 through 10 here, where it says, Onan knew that the offspring would not be his, so whenever he went to his brother's wife, he would waste the seed on the ground so as not to give her a brother. And what he did was wicked in the society of the world, and he was put to death also. So that specific area, many Christians have used this passage as a proof text against masturbation, but that was not what was happening in this situation. Okay, that's completely taken out of context. This was not a sin of masturbation, but a sin of refusing to care for his brother's widow by giving her offspring, and a sin of self-use of sex. Okay, so according to the custom of Levites, his brother died. He was the next oldest brother. He was in charge of giving his brother's wife a child so that his name can continue on. But because he refused to do that, that was the sin of it, not the fact that he was actually just kind of masturbating or anything like that, because that was not the case. He was still having sex with her. He just wasn't finishing off in her to get her pregnant. That was the only part that was a sin. Okay, it's because he was not performing his duty as his brother's younger brother to give her a child. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, I don't really have, this one is really straightforward. There's not a whole lot to it. It is, as you read it, it is what it is read. So the next part we go into is Joseph and Potiphar's wife, and then going on into the rest of Joseph's story. I believe there is no more stories in between. It is literally just Joseph from here on out. As far as I can see, it's just from here on out. So that is all of 38. Next week we will cover 39. I will make the announcement again on the new topic video, like a really short run, to see if there's anyone else who wants to put in their testimony into it, or some kind of feedback onto it. And hopefully next week I'll start doing the Daily Bread videos as well. My first one should be Monday. Alright, my kid wants to go to the park, so I better get off here and go start editing this, posting for you guys. Alright, let me know if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, how I did on this video. So just drop a comment below. If you did watch all the way to the end of this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, share. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications for when I do post another video. And I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye, guys.